Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video here today from Cosmicverse titled "Why Are Men Not Approaching Us Anymore?" which is a mystery that is only unsolvable to modern women, it seems. Today's video was suggested to me by Matrix of Madness. I'm going to leave both of their channels linked in the pinned comments, so make sure you go and subscribe to these guys. Don't forget to leave your own comments, and let's jump right into the video.
I've been hearing a lot of ladies say that men don't even approach them anymore, and they're starting to think that something's wrong with them. A lot of the reasons why a lot of men or women are starting to not get approached is because we're starting to exude a type of level of energy that means that we don't have the time for any BS.
I feel like things are just backwards over here in Australia, you guys. So when I first moved here, not a single guy came up to me at the clubs and hit on me. And I found it a bit weird. I was like kind of offended, not gonna lie. Coming from North America, I don't know, I was kind of offended.
What is hilarious is how she thinks her being an American gives her brownie points in any other country, as if men are supposed to fawn over her for being an American. But she's just gotten her rude awakening, and that awakening is nobody cares at all.
In North America, it's like the guys come up to the girls, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know any girls that would go up to a guy, so it just seems a bit backwards. Like, can someone please explain this to me? Also, why is every single guy short? Like, I'm a pretty short girl, and I tower over all these men at the club.
Guys not making a move anymore is so frustrating because the amount of times that I've heard so-and-so has liked you before, like at this time. I didn't know if you felt the same way, so he never said anything to you. I've been getting that a lot recently.
These women just want everyone to do the work for them. It's not unreasonable to walk up to a man that you like to strike up a conversation, but they act like it's the biggest deal in the world when men don't approach them.
And I can't stop thinking, what if, bro? So guys, can you make a move again? Can we stop being afraid and just make a gesture? I'm never gonna make a move.
No! Because we run the risk of making the woman uncomfortable, and that's something we don't want to do. I'd rather be alone than called a creep for even trying. Too many videos on the internet talking about girls getting annoyed when guys ask them out.
Men no longer approaching is basically just a survival mechanism. A modern woman can ruin a man's life with a tweet and a phone call. You can't create a toxic cesspool and then be shocked when men avoid it at all costs.
Too many risks with even approaching a woman nowadays, so we just stayed to ourselves. I find it to be more peaceful that way. I've seen videos on TikTok of women bashing the men who approached them, and the reasons were often because those men weren't considered attractive enough. Of course, when men see videos like this, they're going to be reluctant to make a move and approach women, because they'll just end up being mocked or bashed for it.
The humiliation of men has gotten out of hand, guys. These women try to make it sound like the worst thing she can do is say no, but that's just it. They never do that. They'll rip into that guy if she thinks that he's unattractive enough.
This behavior also highlights a double standard. While women often express frustration about men not approaching them anymore, videos like these contribute to why men are stepping back. If men are ridiculed for simply trying to make a connection, it's no wonder they're more cautious or even choosing not to engage at all. And if women want that male attention so badly now, they're going to have to start approaching.
Modern women will oftentimes never approach a man. Outside of them not having anything interesting to say, they still cling onto the romantic novel idea that a man is supposed to sweep her off her feet and do everything for her. It doesn't work that way, especially after how often they've poisoned that particular well.
I'm shook. If it is true, there's no hope for me really, because I only ever go to the gym. So somebody told me, actually a few people have told me, that 90% of men who go to the gym would never approach a woman at the gym because they think it's creepy. Why? When did this happen?
It happened after women decided that public gyms were the perfect place to shame men who took half a second to glance in their general direction. Why would men approach a woman who is literally looking for any excuse to call him a creep.
I guess it depends how you approach them.
Y'all want to know why a lot of women nowadays are not afraid to be single? After we've evolved over time, a lot of women are now business owners, hard workers, super independent, mothers. Women aren't as afraid of being alone and having to rely on a man to provide for her. Well, what do you have to provide for me? If I can do everything for myself, what do I really need you for? So now women are making these men really and prove themselves first before they just get that ring on the finger.
Does anybody else find it interesting how she refers to modern women as quote-unquote evolved? Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but if you're evolved into something that's incapable of breeding, then how is that evolution?
I bet she felt so empowered saying all that, and yet nobody is jumping to marry her. A lot of these so-called boss babes will continue to be single because their attitudes are simply a turn-off. And women are still relying on men to provide for them. One thing for sure is women do not like spending their own money. They like to leech off the guy instead. And if women weren't afraid to be single, they wouldn't be out here asking for men.
That's one of the biggest fallacies of the modern woman's argument. They say they don't need men to pay their bills, buy their clothes, or provide them with a house. But if that's the case, why do they demand that the men come around and do that anyway? It makes no sense at all.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, and somebody please tell me if you know, but like men no longer approach women, right? Like you'll be somewhere and you'll catch a homie like staring at you, right? From across the room. Leave that vicinity and never say anything to you. And then somehow, some way, find a way to pop up on you, whether he knows you or not, and hint at maybe having some kind of interest in you. And then it's like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Meanwhile, a modern woman can make hints, lazy glances, and subtle gestures in a pathetic attempt to hint that she likes the guy, and yet when she does it, it's apparently crystal clear communication.
Wait, what is this?
How would you want a man to approach you in public if you're single? I know a lot of women do want this. Like, a lot of women want an IRL connection or like a meet cute that's not on a dating app. I also understand it can feel very confronting and scary and sometimes disrespectful when a man comes up to you in public. So for the women who do want that, who want to get off of the app, who do want men to approach them, a lot of men are obviously scared about like crossing boundaries and being creepy. So I'm just curious if anyone has any suggestions.
She mentioned that she wants a cute meeting like they do in romantic comedies, and they're so obsessed with this idea that they'd rather tell men how they like to be approached rather than just approaching them on their own. Men aren't paying attention, madam. We couldn't care less anymore.
It does not work nowadays. A woman needs to show interest first by giving a clear sign before I waste my time. Unless you're tall and attractive, approaching almost never works. All the men can admit and acknowledge that this only works if you are attractive. If not, you will be seen as a creep. Nope. Women ruined it for the actual good guys. So have fun with your weirdo men.
Some men genuinely will not approach you if they know they can't afford you.
How much?
The cope that these women create to justify their abrasive behavior is staggering. They always say that men are intimidated or can't afford her, but it's not that at all. Men have had enough when it comes to dealing with these women. It's too much work, and it ends with virtually no results for the guy.
Facts. And that kind of makes me feel better. I'm like, all right, well, it's not me. It's you. It is you.
Literally.
You need help.
It has come to my attention that men do not want to approach women anymore. I don't know when this happened, but this is the reality of the situation. And I also realized that nobody wants to be on dating apps anymore. We are finally going to get off the apps and we are finally going to flirt with one another. However, we have an issue at hand. Men don't want to approach women at bars.
I swear, dating apps are like a digital addiction for modern women. It's easy for these women to decide to delete the apps, but after a few days of loneliness, they'll be back on the apps for validation again. They're not going anywhere. They are addicted to the validation that they get from these places.
So it's like, how do we start conversation? I started taking myself out to bars. I'm going out with girlfriends and I'm trying to make conversation with guys at bars. And I have one question that I have been asking that is working.
I asked a bunch of girls, when was the last time a man approached you at a bar and started talking to you?
Is that still the main reason to go to a bar, is it?
I really hope that that's not where a lot of individuals are trying to find someone to be in a relationship with. And I thought this was just me thing, but they were all like, no, it hasn't happened in, I can't even tell you how long, like before.
It's hard to believe that these women are so shocked that men have stopped approaching women. They literally have zero incentive for talking to a woman. Even if she doesn't think that he's creepy, he still has to deal with a woman who can't hold a conversation to save her life.
I honestly don't even understand how it comes as a surprise that a lot of men aren't even bothering to approach women anymore. And I thought that was a me experience. I was like, okay, maybe I give off like a standoffish vibe. I don't know. I don't think so. But no, they all agreed. They're like, I can't tell you the last time a man tried to talk to me at a bar. A man tried to offer to buy me a drink. And why would they? And why should they? Honestly, a lot of men are finding it a lot more peaceful just to remain single. Men still do that? Men, can you weigh in? I don't even need the drink, but like the last time, and I'll go up and talk to guys, but like can someone explain?
It's rather sad how these women are going to bars to find dudes. It really does go to show how dependent on alcohol they are for their daily lives. There are plenty of places to meet men that don't involve overpriced drinks, but they'll never go to those places.
Oh, I would be more than pleased to explain. Just take a look at what is being put out on social media by a large amount of women, especially in regards to how they feel about men in general, what is expected of a man in a relationship, what is considered to be the bare minimum, of which no woman seems to be able to agree with another on what that is. So in fact, a lot of men are just bowing out, not even getting involved anymore, because it's a lot simpler for them just to be single and happy.
For decades, men have been told by women that if they aren't Chad, they are to be neither seen nor heard unless she needs her toilet replaced. And the second men decided to leave her alone, apparently she turns around and considers it a problem, and she's confused as to why.
What this woman and many other women are experiencing is the lack of male attention because most men have prioritized peace over the stress of trying to approach a woman who may mock or reject them harshly. Men are choosing to value their mental and emotional well-being, steering clear of situations where they're likely to be ridiculed or met with hostility. Nowadays, a man don't know whether it's safe or not to approach a woman.
Modern women have turned human pair bonding into an absolute minefield, and the only way they can avoid stepping on one of those mines is to not bother anymore. This was completely inevitable.
Especially after many women have told men to stop. The irony is, while some women claim they don't need men or attention, their actions tell a different story. Many of them are now vocal about their dissatisfaction with the lack of male interest, yet they fail to see how their attitudes and behaviors contribute to the problem. The modern dating scene has shifted dramatically, with many men opting out of the pursuit altogether.
Every day, more and more men are getting out of the dating market because there's virtually no point in participating for most guys. Why bother putting in all sorts of the time and effort into being ignored by women when they can focus their time into something worthwhile and end with the same result?
Why? Because the risks now outweigh the rewards. Being ignored is one thing, but being publicly humiliated or shamed is another.
So am I the only one who absolutely hates being single? Because I've been single for a year now, and it sucks. Just kind of enjoy your time. Go out, have fun, enjoy your alone time, blah, blah, blah. There were people who were meant to be alone, and there were people who weren't meant to be alone.
Madam, if you apparently weren't meant to be alone, then why are you single? You could have easily found a good guy, but at the end of the day, you made the decision to remain single. Your addiction to self-pity is too powerful to resist.
I am the second type. This shit sucks. I just want to have someone to come home to hang out with, to talk to watch movies with. Like, I have my kids and they're amazing, but I want like another adult to talk to. And like, obviously I'm not going to settle for just anybody. Like, I am very picky because I have kids. I'm not for the streets. I'm wife material. I'm not. This isn't fun. I don't like it. I mean, maybe it's my age. I am 28, so maybe that's why I'm so like. And since I was married for 10 years, like I was already in that mindset of just being settled down and just being a wife. Like I'm not a girlfriend. What the heck? I don't want to be a girlfriend.
This woman just explained perfectly why men want nothing to do with her. She has emotional baggage, she has children, and of course she's getting up there in age as well. She thinks that she's wife material even though she hasn't mentioned a single quality that would make her a good wife. It's all about what men must do for her, apparently.
But listen to your parents. Don't get married young.
Dating and is so fucked up in this generation right now that we literally get excited over the bare fucking minimum. Oh, he texts me back fast. Okay. Oh, he took me on a date and he paid for it. Okay. He didn't try to sleep with me the first night. Okay. This is bare fucking minimum.
I think we can all agree that the concept of the quote-unquote bare minimum was just created by single women who are jealous of other women who have found men. It takes a special kind of bitter for a woman to crap all over a relationship that has nothing to do with her. But she can't be happy, so the rest of the world must be miserable with her.
Like, bare minimum. It's sad because we're used to such shitty treatment and such, like, low-quality shitty men that when a man acts correctly, we're like, oh my god, holy shit, like, he's amazing. No, this is what they should be doing. When a man actually likes you and wants to be with you, like, he does this shit anyways. Stop settling. Don't be stupid.
One thing that makes no sense about quote-unquote the bare minimum is how these women will say that they came from a relationship with toxic men, and yet when they have a good man, they talk crap about how he's not doing enough for any recognition. So who's the toxic one in this scenario?
It's these types of women that push men away by failing to appreciate the effort, no matter how small or significant, that men put into relationships or interactions. At this point, I'm convinced they don't even know what the bare minimum is, because they dismiss nearly everything a man does as just that, bare minimum. Whether it's paying for dinner, holding the door open, or simply showing genuine interest, these gestures are often met with entitlement or indifference.
It seems to me, guys, like a lot of modern women are just incapable of happiness or satisfaction. They expect their men to be completely perfect, and the second he does something wrong, then all of a sudden her entire life is just shattered. That's why garbage like the bare minimum exists.
Rather than gratitude. Men are expected to go above and beyond constantly, yet their efforts are either undervalued or taken for granted. The irony is that these same women often do the bare minimum themselves, expecting praise simply for showing up or looking good. If women can't acknowledge and value even the small things a man does, how can they expect men to keep giving?
She expects the man to keep giving because apparently she's special and not like the other girls. And even when a man puts his best foot forward, she's still going to find problems to complain about. These women would rather be single.
Yo, I don't see the point of approaching women or bagging women. There's no point unless you know. The only way you get her is if you already know she's into you.
So what if you're out somewhere and you find an attractive woman? You're not going to go up to her?
There's no point.
Why?
Because they choose. There's absolutely no point of, what do you mean how?
But how do you know you're not chosen if you don't go up to her?
You don't have to go up to her. When a woman wants what she wants, she shows you that she wants it.
It's funny because at the end of the day, women aren't afraid to approach the men that they're actually attracted to. They will do it without question. They can't help themselves. They will save the hints and subtle gestures for the men they think less of.
Not all women do that.
All y'all looking at the camera, lie and say y'all don't. These women listen, there's dudes that don't gotta do nothing but breathe. Hey, I think you're so handsome. I think you're this. Women will come up to them. I used to be one of those guys. And then
Which one? Which one were you? Come on now, which one were you? The one that women used to come up to you?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
See how quickly she dismissed his statement? She finds him physically unattractive, so therefore unworthy of the bare minimum amount of respect. This is how women treat men they think are peasants. It's really no wonder why men have walked away.
me and my friend, a platonic homeboy, we went somewhere last night and we had to get out the car like 3 times. Okay. And he didn't open my door not a single time. So I let it go by a couple times and then I said, now that's your 3rd time not opening my door. And he was like, well, I feel like that's romantic. And I said, wait, this is a common courtesy. Okay. I know we just boys. Okay. I know we just boys, but I am still. Okay. Treat me like a lady. Disregard the mustache and the whiskers down here.
Madam, if you wish to be treated like a lady, you should probably start to act ladylike. You are loud, obnoxious, and you constantly remind men that you friend zoned them. By doing the opposite, you literally just get the opposite.
Okay? I am very much still a feminine woman. Open my door. Open my door. Am I tripping? Bro, open my door, bro. What y'all think?
You need help. Not really sure what would possess this woman to think that her male friend owes her any chivalrous act, especially when they're not dating and referring to each other as bro. Friendship isn't a license to demand special treatment.
Except if that person is the modern woman. Her friend zone is full of men who owe her special treatment, including free lunches, complimentary rides, and a shoulder to cry on while she complains about her boyfriend. She will think all of those men owe her something for nothing.
Or to expect someone to go out of their way for you just because they're a man. But this is how it starts. Small expectations here and there that gradually grow into full-blown entitlement. Many women do this, subtly pushing the boundaries until they're outright taking advantage of the guy. It often begins with seemingly innocent requests, asking for a favor, expecting him to always pay for outings, or relying on him to handle inconveniences.
Modern women go on and on about how they refuse to give men the quote-unquote wife or girlfriend treatment. However, they will look at every single man and demand butler treatment.
Over time, these favors start feeling more like obligations, and the man finds himself in a one-sided dynamic where he's constantly giving and receiving little to nothing in return. Worse yet, his kindness is rarely appreciated. It's taken for granted, as if it's simply his duty to serve her needs.
Is anybody else feeling so frustrated with the fact that they're single? Like, I understand that it's God's timing, and when I tell you I trust in that man with my whole life, I mean it.
These women will always say that finding the right guy is beyond their control and it's God's plan to deliver him at the proper time. And they stick to this by sitting around, doing nothing, and complaining that men don't want them.
But it doesn't change the fact that I'm still frustrated about it. And that's okay, because I'm being raw with my feeling. God wants us to bring our feelings to him and be vulnerable with that. And if I'm being vulnerable, I'm so frustrated. And I know I can't be the only one. So if you're feeling the same way, let's talk about it. What are you struggling with? Because I know I can't be the only one that's feeling this way. And it's so frustrating when people tell you it'll happen when you least expect it, or are your standards too high, or like all the other things that people tell you.
She's frustrated because people aren't showering her with praise and phone numbers. She has done nothing and is angry that nothing ever happens.
Because I have faith in people. I know that there's wonderful people out there. I'm not saying that the dating scene is trash or anything, because I know that there's wonderful people. I think social media has clouded a lot of things and made it more difficult for people to find authentic relationships. But I think that there's wonderful, wonderful people out there. I'm just saying that I know I can't be the only one that's feeling so frustrated in this season of my life. And I know that God will provide, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm so frustrated. So if you're feeling this, or if you resonate with this, let's all talk about it, because I don't think it's talked about enough.
All these women do is talk about how single they are and how there's nothing they can do to change that, because it's all part of a larger plan, apparently. They never stop talking about it. They could go outside right now, talk to a guy, and probably get a phone number, but they never will. It's too much work, and they'd rather complain instead.
I've been single for years now. The loneliness during the holidays is hard this year. I'm truly at the point where I think meeting someone just isn't in the cards for me. I'm so frustrated because it makes me feel like, why am I not worthy of the happiness everyone I know has with their partner? I've never been in a relationship. I'm so tired of being single. I just want someone to love me.
These women claim to never have been in a relationship, but they'll typically have a body count that doesn't add up with the number of relationships that they've had. These women could have had a good relationship at any time, but they chose poorly, and now they want us to clean up their mess.
Why does no one want to talk about the fact that women bait and lure men in by sex in the beginning of the relationship, only to then turn around and blame him later on for the lack of emotional security, which is why she can't have sex with him anymore, and that's the reason for the lack of intimacy in the relationship? Excuse me, but when you met him in the beginning of a relationship and you only knew him for a month, maybe 3 months, he wasn't emotionally safe, but you gave it up to him then. But not only that, is you literally were giving it up to him to impress him, to lure him in, and you weren't rejecting him. So now that he feels rejected later on in the relationship, you want to make him feel bad for it.
Modern women, ironically enough, a lot of them just place their value solely on their bedroom fun. They think that's all they need to provide a man to make a relationship work. They think they hold all the power with this, and they will always weaponize the bedroom against the man and then blame him for it, which is why bedroom fun isn't nearly as valuable as they assume.
Make that make sense. And y'all don't think that this is manipulative or deceiving or hurtful or is going to lead to any psychological problems within the men that you're dating. Make it make sense. But then y'all don't just turn these men down gracefully. You want to make them feel like shit. You want to belittle them. You want to make them feel less than. And you actually make them feel so less desirable, not because of but even your body language, the passive aggressive tones, and the way that you go about turning him down.
Emasculation is the one thing that modern women just absolutely love to do. They love any opportunity to try and strip a man of his masculinity for virtually no reason. It's bad enough that she's incurably miserable, but it's made even worse when she's dead set on taking the rest of the planet miserable alongside her.
What's crazy is y'all set the standard for how you want the intimacy to go in a relationship, but then when he wants that to be the expectation, now you're mad. Let's not forget that if this man decides that he doesn't want intimacy on the one day that you decide to initiate because maybe he's overworked, he's also burnt out, maybe he's also depressed or has anxiety, you're going to accuse him of cheating. Oh, and get this, when you finally decide to break it off with him because y'all are having conflict about intimacy, y'all will go and the next dude within 2 weeks, and y'all don't think that that has anything to do with emotional security.
It has nothing to do with emotional security and everything to do with emotional fantasy. Women who will weaponize the bedroom will always want more out of their man and will jump into bed with any other man after her ex, just so long as he's better looking or has more money.
So you just fucked over a good man for some Joe Schmo on the side. Okay, bye.
Just to be clear, this is what's called a bait and switch. A tactic where a woman uses intimacy to draw a man in during the early stages of a relationship, only to switch up once the commitment is made. In the beginning, the connection feels genuine and passionate. But once the man is emotionally invested or the couple is married, the woman may start to withhold that same intimacy.
If a woman is willing to do that to a guy, then she's clearly damaged beyond any repair, and it just gives men more and more excuses to stay away from women.
Or become emotionally distant. In marriages, men experience this all the time. They enter the relationship with the expectation that the intimacy they shared at the start will remain consistent or deepen over time. But once the commitment is solidified, whether through marriage, moving in together, or having children, the dynamics often change. The woman may stop prioritizing physical affection, become less emotionally available, or start focusing more on her own needs and desires, leaving the man feeling neglected and disconnected.
Once these women get what they want, they couldn't care less about the man's feelings, his wants, or his needs. He's supposed to just suffer while she gets to play the victim to the world. It's just not worth the risk. But anyway, guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Drop a comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Peace.